Hey guys, so it's me, Kakarot, and today we are going to talk about chivalry. So the problem with chivalry is that it's dead, first off. It was meant to die, because for starters, it is simply norms that were made years ago, probably around the medievals, in order to oppress young men. And the problem with this, well, obviously you have these young men. The problem is, gentlemen, despite the name, are not men. They're not women, but they're not men. Gentlemen are probably the equivalent of, the little boys, They put on their schoolwear, they go around giving girls flowers, chocolate, whatever, outside of Valentine's Day. If you're doing it on Valentine's Day, it's pretty cool, that's the day for your girlfriend. And to me, if you're one of these men or women who fight back and say, well, the problem is that if I want to be in a relationship, I want to be treated like a diamond. You're not a diamond. You're human. And to me, I'm not saying don't treat your girlfriend well, because you're supposed to. But the same goes for your boyfriend. People freak out when a woman says, when a woman gives a man flowers. It's somehow this phenomenon that's opened a black hole to hell. I forgot what it's called, but basically, whatever it's called though, whatever, I'm just repeating myself. Eventually, the problem comes about when these men think they're being men, and then they're just acting like little boys. If you want what real men act like, real men are pure dominance. They aren't abusive, but they are dominance. They do not conform to a society that says you gotta dye your hair, cut your hair, shave your beard, or even worse, wear this, wear that, while your female colleagues get to do none of that. Because that is considered a problem. And as a man, we shouldn't be telling ourselves that that's okay. We shouldn't. Because as men, we want to be treated like men. Our ancestors, the primal men, did not ever do all these things. They never conformed to an unnatural standard. Everything they did was natural. And so, obviously, while I am trying to think about certain things, hang on, got a little message real quick. I'll be right back. Oh. Also, I accidentally showed my fork, sorry. And I'm back. Sorry for that. I was kind of dealing with a message from a friend. And so I do want to take a notice. I say, friend, this is my GF. And so what happened is, she understands this. I don't treat her like shit or anything, because that's wrong. Well, what I do, though, is I live by what is natural. I'm not saying don't be nice to your girl. I'm not saying do not give your girl gifts. I'm not saying do not give your girl love. Hey, because, once again, if you don't treat her well, that's abuse. But you don't want to make her this absolute pinnacle, And so, obviously, you can sit there, and there are people who will literally go as far as to invoke the Bible, believe it or not. And, I live with Christians. I am a Christian, but the problem happens when people use the Bible as a weapon. This reminds me of those same parents and all that who use the Bible to say you can't be gay, and they throw their gay kids to the street. These are the same people who are telling men to conform. And you have the Pentecostals, who are honestly more like a cult, telling men that they need to conform. You have people who are very much such a problem who want to deny this because people... Hang on, dog's barking. Hang on. But people like to be lied to. Oh, sorry. They love it. It is their craving. To them, it's like how weed addicts like smoking, That's how it is. But you're probably wondering why any of this has to do with chivalry. The answer is simple. What it has to do with chivalry is that these are innocent men who are persecuted, simply saying why a lot of men or a lot of women have been taught to say no. I'm not going to consent to being treated poorly. I'm not going to consent to being accused of crimes. I never was, by the way. But I'm not going to be considered inferior just because I have something that the other party doesn't. That is exactly what chivalry is. I'll make a second video on this probably, but yeah, sorry about the pause. Bye.